Hi everyone. So welcome to the Sinnott PTA orientation for the Tech Challenge. My name is Nitya and I'm the chair for the program this year. So today's meeting, we'll cover like an introduction to the Tech Challenge and some details on how the Sinnott PTA will help, and more details about this year's challenge, about the rules, and finally about the important dates. And we'll also share some links, and we'll end with the Q&A. So regarding the tech challenge, so this is a team engineering design challenge, and it's for students in grades 4 to 12. And it's a good way for kids to improve their creativity, problem solving, and teamwork skills. And this is conducted by the Tech Museum in San Jose. So this is their website, the Tech Challenge website, and and this is a Sinnott PTA website for the web page for the Tech Challenge. Now, regarding the teams, each team can have between 2 to 6 students from grades 4 to 6 in Sinnott, and it can compete in the it will compete in the division for the team member having the highest grade. So so division 1 will be grades 4 to 5, and division 2 is grade 6. So if your team has at least one student who's in grade 6, they will compete in division 2. If all the students in your team are in grades 4 to 5, they will be in division 1. And the team will have to meet regularly and work on the challenge together. So it's about 2-3 hours a week, and they have a final showcase in April where they will have to present the design. And each team will requires one adult who will be that as an advisor, and the team advisor will be responsible for registering the team on their Tech Challenge website. And once you register them, all the communication from them will be to the team advisor. And you'll also be able to responsible for signing them up for they have free participant events for the teams. So you'll be responsible for registering the team for the participant events. And they'll also have to mentor the team and kind of guide them through the challenge. And before the final showcase, the team has to submit their journal, it's engineering journal, which is basically uh, their project journal, and in a PDF format. So the advisor will likely have to help them upload that or send it via email. Not sure. Last year we had to upload it on the web. They provided a link where you had to upload it along with some video and pictures for the team. And and each team, of course, requires some parent volunteers to help support them and provide like a meeting venue and help with any logistics. So this year, all the events are in person. All the participant events are in person, and all the participant events will be in the Tech Museum San Jose. And the final showcase is going to be the at the South Hall San Jose Convention Center, and that's the final showcase is end of April. Let me just check the. Okay. Now, kind of a bit more. Just to confirm, so the minimum team size is 2 students, and maximum will be 6 students. And and you have to have an advisor for each team. And now a bit more about the event. The final showcase for the grades 4 to 6 will be on Saturday, April 29th. And at the final showcase, the teams have to present their design, and they'll be judged based on 3 things. So the engineering process interview is basically, it'll be like an interview with the judges. When they present it, they will ask a lot of questions about how they came up with their design, and how they what kind of challenges they faced, how they selected their final design. They'll ask a lot of questions to kind of try to understand how the team came up with the idea and built their design. And the second thing they'll check is the engineering journal. So this is basically it's a record of how the entire project, how they came. So you have to maintain this throughout the duration of the project. So you have to, this has to include everything like the meeting minutes, all the different, the any pictures, sketches, any all those kind of things for the related to the project. You can even include things like, say, if you you can include like the list of materials. You can include like any expenses for the project. So the idea is this will be like a full record of their project. And looking at the engineering journal, they should they'll be able to understand how the team came up, what kind of ideas they covered and what they tested and how they came up with the final design. So it has to be, I mean, the more detailed it is, the better it is. So this has to be like a living record of the project that the kids have to maintain throughout the duration. And then they have to finally submit this in a PDF format. So this one, for this, you can actually last year when we did it, what helped us was we actually created like a Google Doc, a shared Google Doc, which the kids maintained during the project, and so they would maintain like meeting minutes, and we also put in things like pictures, and we took pictures of the sketches they had done, things like that, and we included everything in the journal. So, and one thing they suggest this year, since the event is in person, they said even though you have to upload this before the final showcase, when you go for the final showcase, you can carry a hard copy of the engineering journal, and you can also carry like sketches and any sketches, any pictures, anything that you want to show the judges and you want to share with them during the showcase. And finally, the last thing the third important thing they're going to check is the performance for the design. So each team will get 6 minutes to demonstrate their design and to test it out on their test rigs. So the link here has more details on the showcase. Another thing, the second thing they have, so the final showcase is basically a 2-day event, but for the grades 4 to 5, 4 to 6, it'll be on Saturday. The actual time for each team, I think they will probably provide some more details towards closer to the date, and I think they will likely contact the advisor. I think the team advisors will get more information on that closer to that date. The other thing they have is there is an optional video contest that the teams can participate in. So this is so the team will have to create a video up to 3 minutes long, and it's judged based on your creativity and then the visual and audio appeal for the video. And the submission deadline for this is April 11th. Tuesday, April 11th, and this link has some more details on I think. So this one has more details on the rules, and I think they will also provide more details on how to submit that video closer to that date. So if you look at this page, this also has like last year's winning videos. It has all the winning videos from last year. So you can see what the teams came up with. So this can be anything, like your video can be about the project, or it can be about something specific. Basically it's just, they're going to gauge it based on the creativity of the team. So now going back to this. The last thing they have is a team costume contest. So this is again an optional thing. So last year when they did it, they actually had team advisors had to send a picture to participate in this team costume contest. So the teams could come up with any costume, and the team advisor had to send in a picture for the team costume contest if you wanted to participate. So this is again a fun thing for the kids to participate in. I mean, you can. Last year, like our team, we just the kids came, decorated t-shirts and used that for their as the team costume. And if you look at their Facebook page, you can see examples from the previous years for the team costumes. So the more wackier and sillier the costume, the better, I would say. If your team wants to participate in it, it was a fun thing for the kids to participate in last time. Now, sorry, having an issue with this. I'll go back to the slides. Okay. Now, regarding how we're going to help this year, the PTA, the Sinnott PTA is going to sponsor up to 10 teams, and we will cover the team registration fee for up to 10 teams, and it will be on a first come first serve basis. So the team registration fee is $50 for each team. And we'll also provide, we'll set up a dedicated Google Drive folder for each team. So you can use this to maintain your journal, pictures, and any other project documents. And towards the end, you can use that to generate your, so this can be like a shared location where the kids can work together and update their journal and use that, and you can use that to finally submit the journal at the time of the final showcase. And we'll also email announcements and any reminders for all the main events and deadlines. We have a common folder, which is this one. So all the common resources are included in that folder. We also have a Google Calendar on the PTA webpage, and we have marked all the main events and deadlines. So if you can subscribe to the calendar, and you can choose which events your team wants to participate in. So just a little bit more about this folder. If you look at this one, this has a document which lists with a list of links. So this has a link for the PTA form for requesting for the fee, reimbursement for the team registration fee. So you'll have to submit that along with a copy of the registration receipt from the Tech Challenge website in order to claim the reimbursement for that $50 registration fee. We also have listed some other websites with some useful resources in there. Going back to this. Okay. Now a bit more about this year's challenge. So this year's challenge is called Survive the Storm. And this year's event is being sponsored by Amazon. So the scenario is that you have severe weather and you have storms which are bringing strong winds, and you have to use your engineering skills to defend against this extreme wind conditions. So the challenge this year is to build a structure to protect some vulnerable objects from extreme winds. Now a bit more on the rules this year. So so what they're going to provide is they will provide at the event, you will have like a build area. They will have a couple of fans which will be used to generate the wind conditions. And they have some vulnerable objects which you have to build a structure to defend these, to protect the vulnerable objects against the wind. And in this case, these objects are going to be like stacks of empty aluminum cans, and your team has to design and build a protective structure to make sure that if you place cans within it the cans will not tip over due to the wind. And um, so this is how it will look like. So you have like 2 industrial fans. I think these are 20-inch industrial fans, which are set up like at 45-degree angles. And you have a build area. This build area is 36-inch by 36-inch. So this is like 3 feet by 3 feet. And it's smooth plastic, and they've divided it as grids. So I think it's like 9 by 9 grid. And they have one square, which is like a mandatory square where you have to place the cans. And your team can choose how many cans they want to stack. And but they have defined, I think. So this just shows a picture of how it will look like from the top. And yeah, they've defined like a certain number of cans you have to use. So if your team is in Division 1, like it's all grade 4 and grade 5 students, they have to use 14 cans. And their structure has to be, and they have to place 14 cans within the thing for testing. And if your team has anyone from grade 6, then you'll be in the second division. So you have to use 21 cans for the thing. And this is like, and another rule they have is that this is one thing I said. They've defined the one square, which is like a mandatory square where you have to place some cans for testing. And yeah, another thing they've mentioned is that your stacks cannot touch each other. You can choose how many cans you place in a stack, and you cannot place them in consecutive in adjacent cells, but you can have it in like diagonally opposite within the 9 by 9 grid. You can have it in a diagonal cell, but you cannot have it in like an adjacent cell like this. This is an example. So they've just shown examples of what is allowed and what's not. And your structure. For the structure, they have defined like you can use any materials you want, but they've defined some rules. So one thing is that the part which touches the table, this table, the part which touches this area has to be cardboard. The part which actually touches the base area has to be cardboard, and it has to be entirely within this area. The entire structure has to be within the area. And the other thing is they're going to provide a backpack, and your structure has to fit within that backpack. And they've defined some maximum weight you can have for the structure. So you can use any materials, but the base of it has to be cardboard. The part which touches the table has to be cardboard. And your structure has to fit within this backpack. The parts of your structure, whatever you're using, has to fit within the backpack. So I think they have to define like a certain weight. So grades 4 to 5 can have use up to 19 ounces. That's the weight of the structure. For grades 6, they're limited to 16 ounces. And the entire thing has to be within that 9 by 9 grid, which is I think 3 feet by 3 feet build area. And another thing they've defined is that the structure, it has to be, and the stacks have to be entirely within the structure. So this is something they're not allowing. Like when you place the stacks, you cannot place it like this, where you will have the structure come in between the stacks of the thing. Other thing is that they need to be able to see your stacks during the test runs. They want to be able to see the stacks of cans, without having to say if you have a covered structure, they want to be able to see the stacks. So yeah, I mean, I think it has to be you have to have a way to be able to see the cans within the structure without having to say remove it from the table. So for the test runs, and then again, I think your structure cannot touch the grid where you have the cans. So it cannot touch this exact square, the edges of the squares, or it cannot overlap the squares where you have the cans. And you get 6 minutes for the whole performance run. And again, they will have like 3 runs that they're planning to do. So for the first run, they will have 1 fan at medium. For the for grades 4 to 5, for the first run, it will be like 1 fan at medium. The second one will be the second fan at medium. So they're like at 45-degree angles. And then the third run will be with both fans on at high speed. For grade 6, the first run will be the first fan on at medium. Second run will be the second fan only at high speed. And the third run will be both fans on at high speed. And your team, if say your cans tip over, you will be able to adjust it and repeat that test. So but the whole time you get is 6 minutes. But this run, each run is like 30 seconds. So you get 30, they'll turn it on for 30 seconds. And if say the cans don't fall within the 30 seconds, that's a successful run. If you have to adjust the cans in between, that's a reset. So you will have to. So the success criteria is that the cans remain standing, and now none of the can stacks are touching each other or touching the structure, and the protective structure stays on the build area. So that is what they define as a success criteria. This is a bit more about the journal. So they talk about what they expect from the journal. So you can go through this. It's basically they want to. The journal has to have enough information so that it's clear how the team came up with the idea and what kind of problems they had, how they solved it, how they tested it, pretty much anything. And as I said, you have to submit this in PDF format before the showcase, but you can still bring a hard copy when you come for the showcase, and you can show any sketches, anything you have. Even if you want to share with the judges, you can always bring a hard copy when you go for the final showcase. And there is a video. They have like an online training video. I will share the links for that in this. So that actually talks a bit more detail about the engineering journal. So I highly recommend it. Everyone to go through the info training video. I'll share the links. And one important thing they emphasize is safety. So your team has to, they will judge you on whether you've done your design is safe and how your operation, you make sure that you're following safety guidelines. So this year, it's mandatory that your team has to wear eye protection during the testing. And you have to say you have long hair or something, you make sure to tie it back. And since you're operating fans, you have to be careful. And they have some rules around safety. And it's very important to emphasize safety. And you have to have a team safety officer who will make sure that everyone's following the safety guidelines. So you can either have someone act as a safety officer throughout the duration, or you can have them rotate and have someone act as a safety officer in each meeting. And when you go for the final showcase, they will ask you who's the safety officer and for the team. This is a bit about the team advisor. As I said, the main role of an advisor is to just guide, facilitate, and encourage the team. And the actual project has to be done by the team. So the advisor's role is mainly to just help them facilitate them, but they have to come up with a solution, build and test it. And another thing to emphasize is the spirit of the challenge. So this is like to make sure that this is very important for scoring. So they look for some. If you use store bought stuff, your team will lose points. So it's they will ask you about how about the more about the design, and they prefer if you come up with uh, your own thing rather than try to use any pre-made materials. And the other thing to mention is if your team uses recycled material, they prefer that the teams use recycled materials, and sometimes they actually, I think, yeah, the idea of behind the challenge is to have teams. A lot of teams participate, and they really prefer if you use recycled materials. And the rules, this is from the website directly. You can, if they update the rules, they will mark it with red. And if once your team is registered, they will send out an email to the advisor if there is any major change in the rules. So this is more about the rules for this year. Now this is the video contest rules. I think we already looked at it. Now this is about the important dates. So we're going to open the sign up with the PTA tomorrow. So there is a Google form on the PTA webpage. This is the link for the form. And this year, since we have more, we're going to support more teams. We will have 2 deadlines for the sign-ups. For if you're signing up as an individual and you need help to form a team, the deadline for that will be November 25th. And if you've signed up individually, we will have a follow-up meeting for those parents on November 29th. There'll be a Zoom meeting where it'll be an informal Zoom meeting where they can meet other parents who have signed up similarly and see if they want to work with them and form a team. So this is if you're signed up individually. If you want, I mean, we have a longer deadline if you want to sign up as a team. But once you sign up with us, once all the people in the team have signed up, we will set up the folder, and the earlier you're able to do it, the better it is, because they have a lot of participant events that your team can take advantage of. And they also have, I think, if your team is registered before November 30th on their website, they will mail you I think they will mail you an anemometer free anemometer for testing to use during your home testing. This is the deadline just for submitting the reimbursement request to the PTA. Will be Jan 13th. And I think the last day to sign up with the PTA as a team will be Jan 10th. The last day to submit the reimbursement request will be Jan 13th. This deadline, the last day to update, to either register a team or update a team registration in their website will be March 31st. So if you say you form a team with like two children, and later on say you want to add a third person, you can still go ahead and edit that in the website, and you have time till March 31st to edit it. But to sign up with the PTA, we'd suggest that you please make sure you register your team well before this date, and sign and submit the registration fee reimbursement before Jan 30th. And this is the events I mentioned. So they have advisor training, info sessions, team workshops, and test trials. So this is all conducted by the Tech Museum. So the challenge actually kicked off last Friday is when, I think last weekend, I think last Saturday is when they had the first set of sessions. So they have a session like pretty much every month. So if you look, and they have one in November, which is this weekend, then in December, January, February, and so advisor training is like all of these meetings. These are in person meetings, and this will be at the Tech Museum, and you will have to register for them. So if you look at it, they have a form where you have to sign up for these. Yeah, and you have to register for them in advance. So what I would suggest is when you form a team, you can look at the events that are marked in the PTA calendar, and then you can decide which of these meetings or which of these sessions you want to attend. So advisor training is useful if it's the first time you are you're trying to act as a team advisor for the tech challenge. You can also do they have like an online mini course. So all these links are included in the presentation for the training mini course, and then the info clinic mini course and the online the advisor training mini course. I've included the links in the presentation. So I would suggest go through that first, and then see if you want to do that advisor training in person. The info clinic is, again, this and this are like in more informal sessions. So the info clinic is more if your team wants to has a lot of questions and you want to know a bit more about it, you can go and attend one of these. You can do if you do the mini course, the online mini course, it gives you a lot of information about it. So these two I would say are more optional. The team workshop, I would highly recommend your team attend at least one of these sessions. So because this is a good way to introduce them to the whole process and these are like 2-hour sessions. Only the team itself will participate, but they will give you like a small mini challenge, and then the team will have to work through and build something for that. So these again, I would suggest have your team attend at least one of these. All these are linked all these are marked on the PTA calendar. So there are 6, I think there are 5 opportunities to do a team workshop. The final thing is a test trial. So these are basically chances for your team to go and present what they have built till that point. So this is and you will get a feedback you will be able to test on the actual test rig and the test setup they will use for the final showcase, and you will get some useful feedback from the judges. And the kids and the team will also get into, they will ask you a lot of questions, and it's a good way to get the kids used to how it will be for the final showcase. So even if you don't have like a fully working built thing, I would still suggest to attend some of the test trials. So I think if you plan it out now, it'll be easier to coordinate and make sure that your team is able to go together and attend these test trials. So I would suggest have them attend at least 2 or 3 of these test trials if possible. It's really useful because you'll get feedback from real judges who will be participating in the final, who will be doing it at the final showcase. So this is a great opportunity for your team to actually present what they've built till that point and get some feedback from the judges. So all these are marked on the PTA calendar. So if you subscribe to that, you can see all the you can see all the main events, and you can plan out. Your team can plan out which ones you want to attend. I think yeah, and the final showcase, as I mentioned, this one is going to be at the San Jose Convention Center, and it will be April 29th for the grades 4 to 6. I think are going to be on April 29th. So yeah, and this is just a bunch of the important links. So this is the PTA sign up form, the PTA web page. This is the common folder I showed you earlier. This is the Tech Challenge website, the main website. The Facebook page has a lot of videos from last year. You can see some of the videos and pictures from last year. The online training mini courses. So this is this is a must if you want to know more about the thing. I would suggest go through the Info Clinic mini course. It's very detailed, and it's a good way. And it also talks about the engineering journal and the process they have to follow and things like that. The advisor training is again the online training for the it's for the advisors. This one is the Info Clinic. I think is it'll take about an hour. Advisor training is a shorter course that you can do. And these are some of the important things. So the getting started just tells you like what are the main steps you need to do. This is the FAQs. This is the rules which we looked through earlier. There's a team guide, there's an advisor guide, and there's a student resources. So this student resources that they provide is like, this is a great resource. So there's a whole bunch of things on safety tips. They talk about like the practice interview questions, like what kind of things they might ask. They have some samples. They have, I think this is a vocabulary of the terms. So let me go back here. The books and videos they have a lot of resources in here which your team can look at, and you can look through this and decide what you want to use. But they have a lot of resources in here, and especially because this is challenges about it's about the weather. They have a lot of useful resources about that and building and things like a lot of useful resources listed there. And this is they have a bunch of tech tool videos. So this is if you want to teach them how to use certain tools, this is a good resource to look at. So sure, it gives you a lot of information on how to use specific tools if your team wants to use certain tools for that thing. So this is a really great resource, so please make sure to use it. And then, okay, yeah, this is some lessons from previous years. So if you look at this one, I think they have, if you look through it, this has some thing on the engineering journals, they have some exam. I think they also have some activities and around how to, what you can include in a journal, things like that. So the lessons is a good way to look at. If you look through the lessons, there'll be a lot of useful things in there for the kids to look at. This is some mini challenge activities, and then there's some fun STEAM activities. So yeah, that's all I think I had. Now I'll open it up to any questions you have. Let me see.
Hey Nitya, good presentation.
Thanks.
Hi Nitya.
Hello, can you repeat?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay, good presentation. Thank you very much. So you said PTA will form the teams. Is there any other help the PTA will give, like suggesting?
Yeah, last year what we did was we created the share folders, and we also sent out reminders for all the main things. They had sent out like some tips and some things, so I made sure that we shared that with the group.
Okay, and how about the engineering challenge itself? Like, do you guys have any ideas for what the student should prepare for and all that? Like, other than
no, it's pretty much every group has to work independently.
Okay.
So they have to come up with so we introduce the rules. So they have to come up with the design. Yeah, one thing I wanted to probably, even though this looks very let me see, where was So if you look at this one, this is this just shows an example.
Mm-hmm.
So this is I think this has very detailed diagrams on how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
They've also shown an example of how you can set it up. So this is a very basic example. I think it's something any of the teams can set up in a garage or something. So so you can look through the rules, and I mean you're pretty much, the sky is the limit. The kids have to come up with something. Every year it is different. The challenge is different. So and I think they have opened it up with respect to the materials and things they can use. All that is open.
Okay, and
And
you'll
the
help.
teams, we have from the PTA. What we're going to do is if you sign up individually, we will host that meeting and try and so that the parents can introduce themselves and maybe see if you want to form a team.
Okay, great.
But yeah, if you're able to form a team on your own, that's great, because then you can coordinate with the parents and get started a bit earlier.
Okay.
So we just left it open for 3 weeks so that if parents want to come up with, they can. If you're able to come up with a team on your own, you can do that. Or if you need help, you can sign up individually and then attend that follow-up meeting so that you can meet the other parents. So any other question? If you form a team, you can actually start now. You can actually figure out which of these events you want to attend, because once you've registered them on the website, all of these are free events, and you can really take advantage of these events and figure out which ones you want to attend, and make sure that the test trials are like a great way for them to get some feedback on what they've built till that point. But the main thing is, I think, coming up with a team, forming a team and kind of coordinating with the other parents so that you're able to have them meet regularly, and then decide which of the events you want to participate, which of the events the kids can participate in. But as soon as you form a team and you've registered, we will set up that shared folder where you can have the kids.
Register, you can start.
Yeah, you don't actually have to register on the website to start. You can form your team. You just sign up with the PTA, and then we will set up the shared folder. That way your kids have a shared thing where you can start the journal. You can start creating your journal. They can start having meetups and meeting up and work on it.
Got it.
Yeah, we'll also send out, I think, we will send out reminders for all the main things, the main events, and then we'll send out any tips and any information that they share from the challenge.
Can you share the presentation that you're showing currently?
This is shared on the website already. We will also post the recording from today on the website. The presentation is already shared on the website.
Can you send a link to the WhatsApp groups that were created? I don't think I have that link.
We don't have a WhatsApp group created for this one, but we have this presentation on the PTA website already.
Okay.
This is already there on the. So this is the thing. Yeah. So this is the website. The PTA website already has the presentation. We'll post the recording as well.
Can you share it in the chat in this one?
Yeah. Sure.
The link.
Yeah. So this is this link for the thing, and this page also has a sign up link. So we'll open the sign ups tomorrow. Yeah, I think we'll open the signups tomorrow. If you look at the website, we also have. So this has pretty much everything. So this is the slide presentation I used today, and this has the main. This is the calendar I mentioned. You can look through it, and you can choose. You can add this calendar and use that. So this has all the main things marked on it, and you can use it to plan out what events you want to attend. And you can also look at this is from last year. We had 3 teams that participated, so you can see some pictures and their demo videos from last year. I think let me put the sign up link as well. So the sign up link is going to be, that's the sign up link for the registration. And for the individual registration, we will set up a follow-up Zoom meeting. As soon as you have registered all the people, we do want everyone in the team to sign up with the PTA. And as soon as all the people in your team have signed up, we will set up the shared drive, and we'll also create we'll also create like email lists so that we can send out messages to each group. And as soon as you formed a team and we will set up the shared drive, and then your team advisor can then will send out a confirmation email, and you can go ahead and register them on the website, on the Tech Challenge website at that point. But the earlier you're able to form teams, the better, because the kids will have more time to work together on this. Yeah, you can talk to other parents from your kids' friends' parents or other parents from the same classroom to see if you want to form groups. The good thing is that your team can be as small as two students and as big as 6 students. So it's so you can form a team as long as you have at least 2 students. You can form a team for this one. And we will sponsor up to 10 teams this year. Yeah, I'll open it up. I think we have a couple of people on the call who participated, so you can talk about your experience if you want.
Hey, this is Padmanabhan, and so last year we participated, and the experience was very good, especially like for the kids to learn a lot and drive on their own, kind of like a project and maintaining the journals. So the end-to-end, I mean, either it is they are winning or not, that is the second thing, but the things they go through, the learnings they go through for the entire phase, it was like very good, and a lot of learning even for the parents who participate with them. Like so what we did is like we meet like every week on Saturday or any specified time, and as a group, like we all, like parents and the kids, meet, and mostly the guide will be there always, and he will help the kids to think on, like give some ideas, but not completely, just drive them and give some tips, but and everything the kids has to do on their own. So that helped a lot to the kids as well, and also guide them in a proper direction if they are like going in a different way, because kids tends to divert easily when they are playing, or when they're doing the project. So parents or a guide is necessary, and that helped a lot. So that experience was very good, and thanks for Sinnott PTA to support this and organizing this.
Yeah, I think it's a good way for kids to also, they'll pick up a lot of soft skills like being able to present it, and also even for the final showcase, it's not really a prepared presentation, so it's more like an interview. So they gain a lot of confidence, and they pick up a lot of skills from the experience, I would say. Whether you win or not, as Padmanabhan said, it doesn't really matter whether they win or not. Participating definitely has a lot of benefits for the kids. And I think the video contest is also a great way for them to exhibit them, to show their creativity and come up with something really fun. Any other questions? Anyone else wants to add something? Okay, I think we'll stop here then. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. And we'll post this recording on the website. And if you have questions, you can always email us at the sinnotpta.techchallenge@gmail.com.